Hello, everybody who may be joining us today. Today we are just going through the basic setup for the game that I'm working on, this new project. This project is currently under the working name of Convergence. Let me go on ahead and pull up the GDD here. So, for those who know, so this game is inspired by the book genre called lit RPGs. Let me scroll down here to the story stuff, which I forgot to put in here. Anyways, lit RPGs are like the Western version of an isekai, where either the character of the book is transferred to a new world, and they end up in a world where video game mechanics are an actual thing in said world, or, and this is especially pertinent to what we're doing here in Convergence, is where the video game mechanics and magic and all that comes to their world. That is what is normally known as a system apocalypse. And normally what this means is that this new stuff comes to the world and it just messes everything up for people on Earth. So, we'll just do a quick look through of the story and narrative of the game, where the setting is a newly merged world resulting from the planned Convergence event. Orchestrated by unknown cosmic entities, this event is part of an ongoing process of universal development, integrating Earth and humanity into a broader galactic neighborhood. The Convergence event was not a random cosmic anomaly, but meticulously planned by unknown beings. Who have orchestrated this grand design. Have now included Earth and its inhabitants as part of their expanding galactic neighborhood. The Convergence merges different realities into one, bringing together magical realms, futuristic civilizations, and devastated apocalyptic landscapes into a cohesive yet chaotic new world. So, our main plot, the protagonist, in Act 1 here, the player begins their journey in their normal life, working at their everyday job. The Convergence event occurs as a planned expansion of the universe, causing their familiar world, our Earth as we know it, to change. The player must escape their workplace, get back home, only to find that their spouse was fatally injured and a chasm separating them from their daughter and their best friend. The player's initial goal is to navigate this newly merged world, survive, and locate their daughter and best friend. The first act is just supposed to introduce the player to the strange and unfamiliar environment, setting up the quest for them. Next, on to the rising conflicts. The player explores, and then as the player explores, they start hearing things about a community of survivors, which starts getting worse and worse, like someone being, like the leaders just starts getting a little bit more insane over and over, or more and more, until they're a despotic ruler, essentially, like a warlord. And they are ruling their community with an iron fist. The player learns that their friend has become that despotic warlord, and that they have somehow found a way how to use the dungeons that have been popping up, and using the monsters and such inside those dungeons as their army to gain more and more territory. So this shifts the player's quest from just getting to their daughter and their friend to now they have to rescue their daughter from their now insane friend. Act 3, the confrontation. The player goes on ahead, gets various other survivor groups and friendly beings from the Convergence event to come together and help, take out their now insane friend. We come down here. We have the player, protagonist, central character. That's who you play as. Convergence entity. They act as the narrator, various other things, Deus Ex Machina, things like that. Allies, we have an elf leader, dragon elder, sapient robot, Jarek, which is a leader of friendly orcs and other greenskins, Lyora, the human nomad leader. These are humans from our world who haven't yet, who believe staying on the move is the best way to stay safe. Then we have Jackson, the human refugee leader, and they have settled down in one of the city's university campuses, fortifying it and making it a safe place for people to stay at. They essentially are the ones who are like, instead of moving around, we're going to stay someplace and defend that area. Then the player's best friend becomes a tyrannical warlord. Their transformation from possible ally and savior of your daughter they turn into the villain that is central to the player's conflict. The themes I want to try and tackle with this game is adaptation, where people like adapting to new circumstances, identity and choice. I want the player to be able to shape what they do and how, because like really the player is kind of like a real milquetoast blank slate, right? They went through everything they were supposed to do, and that's about it. They don't really have anything interesting going on with their lives. They just did what they were supposed to do. And it's your job as the player to make them, more interesting. The unity and conflict, and how for things to come together, sometimes there has to be conflict, or for things to get better, has to be conflict, right? The techniques I want to use is dialogue, quests, and lore and books. Since this is a RPG type game, this is, I want the players to have to like pay attention to the narrative, pay attention to what's going on here and there, right? Read books, talk to the various NPCs, find out what's going on, right? Other than that, let me get up here and we'll talk about some of the game mechanics that I have planned. We're not going to go through this all specifically, but this is a good point. Other than like your general like interaction systems and movement and all that, these are more of the more like specific things I want to do, right? I would like to have a day-night cycle, dynamic weather. Portals. Portals are this very specific thing. This is how you get to like random dungeons. If you've seen various anime or TV shows where part of what happens is that these different portals just randomly pop up and people can go into them and fight the monsters inside them. I really like that aspect of having just like random dungeons. And these portals are how it's done in here. Like random portals should open up around the world and you'll have to like fight the monsters and stuff in there. There'll be 3 different types of dungeons. There'll be exploratory dungeons. These are like your classic dungeon crawl. Arena dungeons, they will be Coliseum type arena battles where you either have to fight one really large boss or waves and waves of smaller enemies. Puzzle dungeons, much less fighting, and it's more about completing puzzles to gain the rewards inside. The player has to open the door, they have to go find the key. To get the key, they have to complete this puzzle, but to complete that puzzle, they have to get the key for that puzzle from a different puzzle. Just, a puzzle dungeon. Combat is going to be melee weapons, ranged weapons, and magic weapons. Melee weapons are going to be swords, staffs, spears, small hammers, axes, large hammers, axes, knives, and they each have their own specific thing going on here, right? You'll be able to have shields, which will do various things for you. Like a buckler, for example, has a minimal defensive boost, but it does not hinder mobility at all. And then there's tower shields, which are the biggest shield, offers the most maximum defensive boost, but is a significant reduction in mobility. Magic combat. It's everything you would expect, you have ranged spells, AoE spells, ranged AoE spells, melee spells, which are spells that just affect like the very area in front of you. Then we have their elements and abilities. We're going to have fire, water, wind, earth, light, dark, plants, summoning, electric, gravity. And then how imbuing those things with into weapons will affect them, and how different weapons will affect your spell casting. Now here is the meat and potatoes of what I want to do, like the real big thing. And this is skill and spell creation. Instead of the player having different tiers of different tiers of level, or they gain pre-made spells and abilities, the player is going to be set up to make them themselves using a UI. For anyone who may have played Oblivion, part of the Elder Scroll games, Oblivion, they had a spell creation system where you could create your own spells, and this is what really inspired this game in particular, was that, and then along with the lit RPG System Apocalypse. But this is supposed to be not only for spells, but also for the skills you use with your melee attacks. So, just tied to weapons skills, they will be tied to weapon types and going to be applied up to 2 weapons if dual wielding. This will increase mana and stamina cost. But for example, for skills, you can increase damage, increase how fast you're attacking. An elemental modifier, this will give you fire damage on your weapons. Or wind damage or gravity, whatever you want to put on there, right? You can change how quickly it takes you to activate these spells using casting time adjustment. Decreasing casting time increases mana cost, increases casting time decreases mana cost. We're also going to have attributes of strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. Very D&D. But these attributes will impact how things work, on how this will affect how you create your skills and spells, right? As you can see here, wisdom will help mitigate mana cost. Dexterity reduces casting time without mana cost affecting the mana cost. And intelligence will increase damage on either the damage buff or elemental modifiers without additional mana cost. Spells, instead of being tied to weapons, they are tied to spell types. Melee spells, ranged spells, melee AoE spells, and ranged AoE spells. Melee spells are, like I said, are spells that affect the area right in front of you, right? While ranged spells are your very average, fireball, water ball, wind strike, whatever you want to call it, right? Melee AoE spells, these are spells that affect around the player. Calling them melee is kind of a misnomer, but they happen at where their center is, at where the player is, and they just expand outwards like a force push or something like that. Then ranged AoE spells, which are the most expensive spells, they are spells that you can throw out like a ranged spell, but at where they hit at, they cause an AoE effect. So this would be like a fireball that explodes at the end. Makes sense? There's also going to be buffs and debuffs that you can add to these. This is just a very basic breakdown that I'm going to expand on when I get to that point. And skill limitations. You'll be able to have 5 active spells or skills that you'll be able to use with the 1 through 5 buttons, right? Or you can tie them to a mouse. This game is not going to be controller based, it's just going to be keyboard and mouse. To create a new spell or skill, you must either discard an existing one or store it in your skill or spell book. This is weapon durability and magic imbuing. To continue on with the theme of being able to create your own stuff, you'll also be able to make your own weapons and such, and then you'll also be able to put your own magical effects on them, right? They'll very much follow the same thing as the skill creation here where it's tied to weapon types and such. But you won't have to spend mana to use the skills or spells or magic abilities that are on the weapons themselves. There will be a durability system. Things that are imbued with magic, other than staffs, will have lower durability than things that are not imbued with magic. Also, to go on with the fact that you have to create your own weapons and spells and everything, the weapons do not drop in this game. That's part of the fun of it. Item parts of weapons will drop, but weapons themselves will not drop. Enemies. So because this is a game where a bunch of different worlds come together, right? We're gonna have enemies from a bunch of different genres. So this is just like some examples of enemies, right? From fantasy, we're gonna have orcs, dragons, goblins, trolls, elemental spirits, giants, dark elves, liches, manticores, gargoyles. From sci-fi, we're gonna have robots, aliens, cyborgs, drones, mechs, androids, mutants, holograms, energy beasts, bioengineered monsters. From an apocalyptic genre, we're going to have mutants, bandits, raiders, survivors, zombie-like entities. Right? Maybe not zombie-like entities. I just threw those in there to help round it out, but because we already have zombies and undead. From the undead genre, we're going to have zombies, of course. Skeletons, ghouls, rites, banshees, wraiths, mummies, specters, revenants, liches. You know, we're going to have a bunch of different enemies that we're going to make and put into the game. And then we have system and attributes. So the player attributes, like I said, are strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. These all have their own various effects. Strength will increase melee damage and the ability to wield heavier weapons. It will also give a slight boost to health. Dexterity improves attack speed, evasion, and accuracy. It also improves casting time. Constitution boosts health and gives small boosts to strength and dexterity. Intelligence enhances spell power and how much mana you have. Well, no, it enhances spell power, not how much mana you have. But it will increase your magic resistance as well. Wisdom reduces the mana cost of spells. It also improves how much mana you have to use. Charisma affects NPC interactions. But better your charisma, the more ridiculous things that you can ask from NPCs to influence dialogue choices. Weapon attributes is going to be damage type, slashing, piercing, bludgeoning, elemental, speed, durability, and magical effects. And then armor attributes, defense, weight, durability, special effects. Pretty common stuff. Now, let's go on ahead and move on to the actual game itself. So far, I have made some things in this game so far in an earlier stream that I forgot to record. So let's go on ahead and first let me go to the testing now. Alright. So things I have already made. So we have already made our interaction system, our view change system, and we've already put in our stat functions like our health, stamina, and mana modifiers. We've also started on the interactables, such as our interactable master here. And we also started some work on the HUD. So you can see we just have some simple HUD stuff going on here, where we can go up and get our test things, and we can see that things are working. But we are going to continue on from here. And what we're doing right now is that we are going to create items that you can pick up or essentially making an inventory system right now. Very fun. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll answer whatever you guys have. So let's go on ahead and get started on our inventory system. First, we're going to take our interactable master here, create a child blueprint class, we're going to call it item. We also need to go down here to blueprint, make a structure, what we're going to call F item, and then we're going to make another structure called Actually, we're just going to do F item here. So we're going to open up F item. I'm going to throw some things in here. So first things first, we need a name for the item. We need the quantity of the item. We need the static mesh of the item. And then this is going to be various things that we'll come to. Like, for example, health mod, stamina mod, mana mod. Because the first things we're going to go ahead and make are potions, because potions are easy. So this name one is going to have to be a text. Quantity is going to be an integer. Static mesh is going to be a static mesh, obviously, but we're going to use a soft object reference. Health mod is going to be float, float, float for our health, stamina, and mana modifiers. Save that. We're actually also going to do something else real quick. We're going to go into interact. We're going to go into the HSM tester. We're going to delete this. And we're going to come off the player and get the SP mod function. And the MP mod function. And let's just go on ahead and go back to the content browser. We're going to make a quick enumeration, enum, hurt tests. Add, health, stamina, mana. Go back to our HSM tester, add a new variable called type effect. We're going to call this our enum hurt test. Bring this out, do a quick select, wrong select. We need a switch. Down, down. That's variable. Call it a modifier. Compile it, and then we're gonna plug it all right here. Compile all that. And then we're going to take our HSM tester, compile it, Make sure this is instance editable, expose on spawn, same for type effect. There we go. Health dam. Stamina dam. Mana dam. Health heal. Stamina heal. Mana heal. We're gonna go ahead and set that to mana. 25. Stamina. 25. Health. 5. And then mana. Stamina. So now if we come down in here, we can damage each of our things and then heal it back up. Oh, and if we were to go on ahead and lose all our health, we get our death thing. Alright. So there's our things there. That way we'll be able to test our potions when we get to it. So now we go back to our content browser, click on BP item, and we need to add a variable here. We need our item, and it is F item. We're gonna call this item info. Alright. So in the construction script, what we want to do is we want to go on ahead and so here's our parent from our construction script, which was our interactable master here. And the interactable master is how we choose our static mesh. Here's the chosen mesh here. And this is essentially what's in this parent construction script. So we're going to move this over. Delete that bit, and we bring in our item info and compile it. Oh wait, I almost forgot something. So also here we need to make a blueprint. We need to go to miscellaneous, go to data table, and we're going to pick our F item. Press OK. And this is going to be our DT items. What's up, Grix? Oh, hey, Acid. So right now what we're building is the inventory system. If that helps out. I should be a lot more. I should make sure I'm actually looking at my chat more often. Anyways, so now that I've made the DT item table, we're gonna go on ahead and add in a new item, which we are gonna call test. And we need a test item real quick. So let's grab this cone. Alright, so now we have our test item here. So we are going to get Get data table row. Drop that there. And we need to make another variable called data table row. And this is going to be a data table row handle. And we are going to set this as our DT items table. So this comes out. Get our D. And now that we have that, we go ahead, break F item. Split this struct bin, drop it here, drop it there. Oh, this game is going to be a RPG, and is going to be a semi-open world RPG game. Would you like me to go back over the GDD? Set chosen mesh. Static mesh. Compile. So now that I have that there, we go to interactables. We get our BP item. Oh, and I forgot to set this to instance editable expose on spawn. Alright. There we go. That's working. I forgot to give this an actual name. We are going to call it test item. Alright. So we have the test item. Now we go back into here. Go to the look at function. Oh, we need to go here, and we need to get our data table row. Essentially, we need to grab everything that's here. Drop it here. And we need to set our item info from here. Split this. Drop it there. Drop it there. Put that in there. And then we need to set a member in here. Set members and F item. And what we're setting here is the quantity, which we're going to go ahead and promote this to a value. This will tell the system how much is in this thing. Expose on spawn, compile. Then, now that we have all this information, what we need to do is we need to go back to our lookat function, which we made in a previous stream. And we need to get our item info. And we're going to break F item. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a format text. And we need to do a name. I'll show you. X quantity. throw name in here, quantity in here, label name, compile. So what the look at function does is that here and stuff that we made previously, right? Look at function, it allows us to see on our HUD what we're looking at. So if we were to press play, right, and we come up to here, it gives us this label that you can see right there. See, this one is called test, health damage, stamina damage, mana damage, health healed, stamina heal, mana heal. That's what that does at this moment in time. Now we need to figure out why that didn't pop up like it was supposed to. Probably because that row, that blank row name no longer exists. So as you can see, with the look at function, by putting the look at function is a it's a blueprint interface. So instead of me having to cast to this thing here, it no longer I don't have to cast to it. It just gives me that information when I look at it, if that makes sense. Because right now the looked at actor is just a actor type. It's not like the item, it's just whatever actor that will have the look at BPI on it. Anyways, so now that we have our BP item, this gives us that right there. So if we go here, we can see that our quantity is 0. So we're going to up that to 10. And see, it updates it correctly to 10. So now we need to go to our BP item. There we are. Event graph. Now, when we interact with it, we need it to do things. But we want to put this into... Yes, it will just automatically knows what it's looking at from the camera. That's exactly how it works. So, now we need to do some other fun stuff. Such as going to the content browser and making a new blueprint, and we're making a actor component, which we're going to call inventory. Here we're going to add a variable called content. And this is going to be an F item array. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go on ahead and we have our functions. We're going to add a add item function. This is going to have an input of F of item to add. Oh, typo, add. And this is going to be an F item. There we are. So we have our item to add. We have our content. First things first, we need a we need to go on ahead and search through this for each loop. Oh, for each loop with break. And what we're searching for is break F item. We're searching for the same name of the item. Item to add. We don't need all these pins, we just need a name. So we're going to do equal, equal, equal. Oops, wrong equal. Equal exactly. So, what this will do is it will tell us if this equals 6. So we're also going to make a local variable. This is going to be the index of the array. So integer. And we also need a bool, which is item found. So we're going to set this. Going to make a copy of it real quick to put on the false. And this is also a single, which we're going to set. This will get set here, and this will go set on the index. And then when we find it, we want to break it off so we're not going through the rest of it. Then we're going to come down here to a branch. And we're going to put our item found into the condition. Now, if the item is found, we're going to get our content. All right, we're going to get a copy of our index. We're going to break this. Because we just need the quantity. And we need our item to add. We also need quantity, and we need the name from here. Then we are going to not set content. We're going to set an array element. And we are going to make an F item. Actually, that's too complicated. We're going to take this, and we're going to take our item to add, and we are going to set a member in it, which is going to be our quantity. So here we don't need a name anymore. Gonna put this here, put this here. I'm going to take our quantity from what we already have, add it to the quantity that we don't already have, and put it in there, and then that goes into here. We get our index here, throw it into our index, throw it there. That way it will set whatever that array element is to here. This is a read-only item. So what we're going to do is we're going to do another add. Actually, we're going to delete this. We're going to do add item. And this is going to be the F item type. And we are going to set it here. That way we'll be able to change it. So we're going to change that. Then we're going to change it here. There we go. If the item is not found, we're just going to add. Gonna add the item and compile it. We're gonna do a quick debug function. Debug inventory function. Take our content for each loop. Break F item. Print string. Format text. And we're pretty much going to do the same thing that we did earlier. Name, X, quantity. Put that. Oh, I messed up. There we go. Name, quantity. So breaking F item. F item is a struct that I made. If I were to go here. It is a struct that I made that has all these different variables in it. This is what's going to hold all the item information, such as its name, quantity, what static mesh it uses, health mod, stamina mod, mana mod when you use it, all that kind of fun stuff. We're always going to add more stuff into here when we get to it, but right now we're just working on getting potions that we can use. Go ahead and let the autosave do its thing. And we just print this string. Compile. We're going to go into third person. Go to the event graph. The naming convention for structs is F. Since it is the struct for items, it's called F item or item struct. Kind of like how for blueprint interfaces, it's BPI. There's S is already taken by something else. For naming conventions, I can't remember what it is right now, but F is what we use for structs. File, save all. And we're going to go on ahead and pull up we're going to add inventory. We're going to do a quick keyboard 9, get out our inventory, and do a debug inventory function. Another quick thing we're going to add to the inventory function is make sure that this is valid. Is valid index. If it's true, we'll do this thing. And if it's not, empty inventory. So when we push play and we hit 9, we get empty inventory. Now we go back to our BP item. And when we interact with it, we want our interact function. And we want, so our interact function is already getting our player. So from our player, we want to get inventory. And we want the add item function. And we take the item info, drop it in here, and then we want to destroy the actor. Hit compile, press play, press 9, empty inventory, it deleted, and we got 10 test items in our inventory. Everybody say yay! Yay! Now, there's things I want to do along with this, right? So, something I want to add is how many stacks we can have of said item. So essentially what I want it to do is I don't want the player to be roaming the area with 11,000 health potions or 11,000 super rare items or things like the game isn't finished yet, Acid. But I want it to I want there to be stacks of items. You see this a lot where you can only have like 99 of this one item, especially in like Final Fantasy games is a great example. But I also wanted to go on ahead and put in like make a new stack if that stack does not fit, right? I could, but I don't like weight limits. It's a fantasy game. I want the player to essentially have a endless bag. What is it called in D&D? I'm forgetting. A never-ending bag, whatever it's called, right? And I don't want them to have to worry about the weight of things. Because I don't want the player to be wanting to go out and be grinding for sword blades, right? And sword blades are going to weigh a lot of stuff, and then have them be like, oh, I have a ton of sword blades, but I found this one really cool item that I don't really want to leave this dungeon without. But I can't pick it up because then I can't move because my weight is too high. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go with item stacking instead of a weight attributes. So here, in our struct, we're going to add a variable. And this variable is going to be called item, or we're going to call this stack limits. So, more like you can have your entire bag full of, say, you can have your entire bag of say 10 spaces filled with swords, and each sword could have a stack of 99. But we have our stack limit, which we're going to set as an integer. So we go into our inventory and we're going to we're going to make this a lot more complicated. So we're going to add a thing defined first. We're going to do stack check. Yes, it would have to be the same item type. Where we get our content and we get a copy, and that's going to be of our index. And instead of dimension 1, we're going to call this our index to check. And this is going to be rather simple. We're going to go on ahead and get our... we are going to... We're going to break our F item. And we are going to check if our quantity is equals our stack limits. If our stack limit is true, we are going to have a local variable called stack limited. Set that as a single, make sure it's a bool. We're going ahead and set that up. And then we need an output. Doop. Doop. There we go. Let me compile that. Oh. We need to name that something different. Stack limited. Or stack limited answer. We'll just call it that. And we go back to our add function. And we bring in our stack check. And we're going to make this a pure function. And we will make another one is stat limited. Or we'll go on ahead, set it. That gets there. That gets there. There. This will tell us if our stack is limited. So, what we want to do is stretch this out a little bit. We're going to bring in another content, put it here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do another branch. Actually, we're going to make another function. And this is going to be the stacking function. This gets an input of F item. Item to stack. and the index from the right. So we get our item to stack. And we break this item. And we get our content. And we get a copy here. Get our index. Break that item as well. And then we do a plus. We only need the quantities from here. And we also need the stack limit. So what we need to do is get a greater than. If it is greater than our stack limit, we want to get a local variable called stack is full. All right. New quantity, which is going to be a integer. Set this as this. Put that there. Put that there. All right, so we get stack is full here. All right, if the stack is full, we get this, and we need to take our new quantity and minus our stack limit from it. And this will be our output quantity. Where we go on ahead and set this. If it is not, we just go on ahead and set our output quantity from our new quantity. And then we go here, to here, and we get our outputs. Full. Leftover. This is a Boolean. And this gets our stack is full and output quantity. And then this goes right in there. This should default to false. All right. So then we go back to our add item function. We bring in our stacking function. And we get our add item and our index. All right. And we put in a branch here for our full. You're just here for the Jira, Steve? Alright. There is no Jira! Anyways, though. So, we go here, we go down to our false. Alright, see you later, Acid. So here, since we are full, we take our leftover here, and we put this into our quantity. Or if it's false, we don't need that. We need this here. If it is full, though, we need to do this. Put this into our true. And we put our leftover into the quantity here. So we don't need this. Or this. Or this. We do need the add item. But we don't need any of this. Alright. So, this right here is adding it to our thing. This right here is what's adding it to our thing, and we're stacking. Now we need to check to see if we still have space in our bag. But we also need to make sure that we don't have anything else that it can go into, right? So we have things that, so we have a stack of swords that is 5 and a stack of swords that is 6, and they each have a stack of 10, and we're picking up the same item, and we pick up a stack of 6, we should be able to put 5 of that stack of 6 into the one that has 5, and then that last one into that one that has 6. So we're going to make another function that's called check bag for more. And out of this, we need the item and the leftover quantity. Leftover. F item. And this is an integer. So we take this and we get our content. Actually, we shouldn't be doing it here. In fact, we can just go to our add item function, go up to here, and we can do the check here. So we're going to take this, our F item, right? And we're going to hide everything except for the quantity and the stack limits. I'm going to get our quantity and see if it's less than our stack limit. I'm going to do a and boolean. Put it here. Drop it right into our condition. This way, it will skip over anything that we have a stack limit for, right? Now, what we do need to do is we need to check if our bag has space to fit things. So we have our thing here, and what we want to do is we want to come back through and do it again. And we just throw it in here. But first, we need to make sure that we have... This is going to cause an issue. This will cause an infinite loop the way I have it set up right now. So essentially, if item is not found, which would mean that there's not space for it in any of our current stacks, they'll come down here and add it. So we need to, so instead of this being our check bag for more, we're going to check bag for space. And from this, we want to get owner, and we are going to have to do a cast to, oh no, we don't want to do that. We're going to do this instead. We're going to add a new variable, which is called bag size. Oops, I messed up. I deleted too many things. There we go. Check for space. So we have our bag size. First, we get length. Get the length of our content. And we go on ahead and see if it equals our bag size. We put in a branch. If we do not, oops, go back to add item function. And we want to know if we still have bag space. So we don't need these. But we do need a boolean here for space available. Or no, we want this one here. Let me compile that. Go back to our add item function. This is a pure. So we do a B. And we come down here. We get this. If space is available, we'll just add it. But we have to do our stack check. Alright, well, this needs to be renamed to inventory stack check. Add another function, which we're going to do a item stack check. And here we just need the item that we're checking. We're breaking it. We get our quantity. If it is less than or equal to our stack limit, and here we're going to have a local variable of stack limited, which will switch to a boolean. Bring that out, copy it, and we do this. Now, we essentially need to tell us if it is too much. So we go ahead and get our output, two outputs. One is our Boolean limited. One is our leftover quantity, which is an integer. If it's too much, we take our quantity, subtract it from our stack limits, and we plug it in here. And then our stack limited goes here. And we compile it. Go back to the add item function. Alright. And we do our item stack check. We have our true and false, throw this in here, right? If it's false, we're just adding the item. It'll just get put right in there. If it's true, though, we take our add item. We're essentially doing this right here. So we're just going to take our We're gonna take this, get our item, set members. We're setting the quantity from the stack limit, right? Because that's how much is in there. And that just gets put right here. And then we need to run add item again. Which is this again. With our leftover quantity. Now, we need to come down here and do a we need an output for add item. Not enough space, which we will call a boolean, and we need to know the item. Items, which is our item. Drop that in there. Drop that in there. And we hit true. If we are successful in adding all of it, we do not have, we have enough space and we don't have to worry about it. So we're going to compile this. See no issues. And in here we're going to get events, begin play, get our content, set size. Or not set size. Resize. Take our bag size. -1. Alright, put it right in there. Oh, I forgot to check something. Here, we need to take our length and minus it by 1. And we actually don't need it here. We need it there. Alright. So let's walk through this one more time. So we go through here, check if we found an item, make sure that its quantity is not at its stack limit. If it isn't, we found the item, we get the index. Inventory stack check is stack limited. We come down here, is item found. Come in here, we do our stacking function. I don't actually use this is stack limited. Nope, I only use it we check if it's full. If it is full, we go through and we do it again. We'll come back through here, do it again as many times as possible. If it isn't, we come down here to false. We set it. So instead of adding it, instead of just adding it, right? We need to is empty. We need to do something where we need to, for each loop with break, is valid or valid. Find empty space. We take our content, do a for each loop, for each loop with break, get an array element, break it, equal exactly. Check for empty. And we do a quick branch. Empty space found. So we do empty index. This is a Boolean. This is an integer. Break it. Set this. Nope, not get. Set the empty space was indeed found. Set the false if empty space was not found. Now we do a branch based off the empty space. If it's empty, it's true. And then we need a index. Empty index. Which is an integer. Set -1. Alright. So actually, I don't even need this branch. I can just do this. Get rid of you. It's an empty index. So the reason we use -1 here is because -1, an array will never be -1. Put this here. Index. Don't need you. Now we need to take this. Set array element. False. Not enough space. False. Not enough space. There we go. And we will set this to 30. Now I go to our BP item. And we will do a branch. It will destroy the item if what comes out of here is false. If it's true, though, we're gonna set this item info. Yeah, push play. Oh, I messed up somewhere. Let's see how we messed up. Add breakpoint. Step into it. Item found was false. Space is available. This is where I messed up. Nope, still messing up, so... Says our number is 0. Says we don't have anything. That's because we never gave our bag size an initial growing number, or an initial number from the breakpoint. Hey, look, it disappeared. We get 9, 0, 0, 0, 0, 10. All right. Now the goal is to take this, make more of them. We hit play. Remove this. Now we're at 10. Now we have 20. Now we have 30. There we go. It went on ahead and started over again. So now we're going to go back to our inventory, set this to 1. See that we only have 1 space. 20, 30. And there we go. We can't pick up another 40, and we have our basic inventory system. Everyone say yay. Alright. Now we need to be able to see this inventory system. so we can use the stuff that's in it. So let's go on ahead, go to our content browser, go to our widgets, go to our HUD. Now, as you can see from what we have going on right now, we have a very basic HUD. Very basic. We have a reticule, health, stamina, mana, all color-coded. Now, the thing is that we need to decide on how we want this to actually work, right? Because we don't want it looking like this. So, if anyone wants to give any suggestions into how they think the UI should look, go on ahead and give some suggestions. I don't mind. That's the whole point I'm streaming, and making a game with you guys. So if you have any suggestions for how the UI should look, it is supposed to be diegetic. For those who don't know what a diegetic display is, a diegetic UI is one that you as the player can see, but also that your character in-game can also see. Like I explained in the GDD part when I was going over the GDD, this is a world where game mechanics have been introduced to the real world. The player can see that they have health, stamina, and mana, and they can see it go up and down. So, for an example of a diegetic display in a game, right, is in Dead Space. The example of diegetic health of a diegetic health display. Open image and boot tab. So for those of us who have played Dead Space, this is your health bar. This light on the back of your on the back of your character that you can see. As it goes down, your health is getting low. This is also your I can't remember what it is. It's like essentially your mana bar. It lets you do abilities and things like that. Another example is, gosh darn it, I remember the character name, but not Metroid. Metroid also has a diegetic UI. Open link and new, or open image and new tab. So in Metroid, it is a HUD that's displayed on your on the helmet of the character Samus, right? Steve suggests stasis. Stasis UI. I am getting a lot of things from Divinity. Stasis. Okay. Where's Stasis DOG? Oh, Stasis. That was the Dead Space bar. Thank you, Steve. Now, what I would like to do is something along the lines of sort of how Metroid did it, where it was displayed on the helmet glass, right? But of course, the player isn't always going to have a helmet if they even choose to wear a helmet. So, what would be the best way to do it? We don't need any of this right now. So we have our different bars here. I think the best thing to do right now is to draw these a little differently. Let's see what different things we have here. Let's go with a mass. Now we have is marquee. That looks nice. But we can't see anything when it changes. I think the best thing to do might be to... no, not that. 0.75. Behavior? No. We might want to do the rendering instead, so set that back to 1. And we do our render opacity at 0.5. That way it'll be like this. Press play. Here we go. Now we can see through it. Let's see how that looks in first person. So we can see through, which helps a lot. It helps make it more seem like it's something that's floating in your vision. But maybe having big bars is not the way to do it. Here's our style here. Let's see, what if we draw this as a rounded box? We also need to make sure our fill image is also drawn as a rounded box. There we go, that doesn't look too bad. And then, let's go on ahead and give our background image an outline. A black outline. And we'll give it a width of 3. There we go. That looks a lot better, actually. Let's see how that looks when we get changed. That looks good. Let's also give our fill image an outline. We'll give it an outline of whatever the actual color is. Give it 3. Hit compile. Yeah, look at that. So now when we get hurt, that doesn't look too bad at all, actually. I like that. So now let's do the same for the rest of these. Rounded box. 3. Rounded box. Back. 3. Rounded box. Black. 3. Rounded box. blue 3. How does that look to everybody? They're transparent. We can see through them, but they're still nice and visible. That is an option. We size this to content. Ooh, look at that. That doesn't look too bad at all. I like that. That looks pretty good. I think I'll stick with that, actually. Nice simple bar. Yeah, the thin bars do look a lot better, don't they, Steve? Now, there is something I want to do with the health bar. We're going to add a quick animation. We're going to call it the flashing animation. And we're going to go down to our render opacity, where we'll keyframe it at where it is. And then every 15th of a second, we're going to bring it back to this. That looks good, yeah. Set this back to 0.25. Now we go to our event graph here. Make a custom event. Health flash. And we are going to get our animation. Play animation. We're going to ping pong it. Let's just see how that looks real quick. Health flash. I didn't do it. So I'm obviously play animation. Oh, if I want this to go forever, I need to set this to 0. Because I forget things. Hit play. That's pretty decent. So we want that to go off when that's doing its thing. So we want to do a stop animation here. Custom event. Health flash stop. So here's our health bar. This is what tells our health bar what it should be at. So we're going to take this, and if this is less than or equal to, let's say, 10%, right? If it's true, we want to set off health flash. But we don't want it to do this every time, so is animation playing? If it isn't playing, start playing it. But if it is playing, we just continue on. If it isn't there, if it is playing, we want to do health flash stop. And then continue. And if it isn't, continue. There we go. Compile. Now we go back to here. We get our hurt tester. And we're just going to do -5 here. Or actually, we'll do, yeah, -5. And we'll hit play. We haven't hit the threshold. There's the threshold. It started flashing. When we went back to heal, it stopped flashing. Yay! Alright. I got sidetracked. Alright. Back to what we were doing with trying to get our inventory working. We need to go ahead and add a user interface widget blueprint. User widget. W inventory. So now we need a canvas panel. And we need to set this to our desired width, which is 1280 by 720. Now we need a panel. We could use the grid panel, but I don't like the grid panel. Let's go with the uniform grid panel. There we go. And when it constructs, well, first we need to go to our widgets, player parent. And on event construct, we want to get player character. Cast to third person character. And we are going to promote to variable. Then we need to go to our player HUD, event graph. As you can see, we also do the same thing here. We don't want to cast too many times if we don't have to. So we're going to add a thing here called parent widget. This is going to be the player parent widget, which is going to be an object reference. And from here, we're going to get BP. third person character, and we're going to set it right here. So we're not doing any of this. No more casting from there. We don't have to worry about it. But now we need to know, but now the player here needs to get, or this widget needs to get this reference. So here we're going to go in here real quick, drop this here, create a parent widget, go to this here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make a function, call this the set parent function. I'm going to make sure I actually capitalize this P. Get our widget switcher, or not our widget switcher, oh yeah, get our widget switcher. Get player, or get all children for each loop. That won't work. That won't work at all. We're gonna go here, get our player HUD, make sure it's set as a variable. Get our player HUD, set parent widget. And we get 7. Plug that in, plug that in, we hit compile. There we go. Got our inventory working, go back to our player parent, go to designer, get the inventory. And I'm going to put this in to the widget switcher. We hit compile. Then we go back here, do the same exact thing. Set parent widget. This way we don't have to do any casting, except for the one cast that we do in the parent widget. And we don't have to like be searching for the parent widget with the things that are part of the player menus and HUDs. We don't need this anymore. Now we're back here. We get our parent widget. Get third person character, and from there we went to get inventory, and get content. Then out of content, we want to do a for each loop. And then we need to get our uniform grid panel, which we are going to call inventory grid. Then we have our inventory grid, and we need to add child. But we don't know what we're adding because we don't have any inventory buttons yet. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to our interactables. Go to our F item struct. We are going to add item image. This is going to be a texture 2D. Let me save it, because we need to go in here, and make a new widget blueprint. And this is going to be item button. Now our item button is going to be we need a overlay. Let's set this to desired on screen. And we are going to go to common. We're going to put a border in here. And this is going to be is enabled. Our border is going to be, we're going to draw as a rounded box. And we are going to put an image in our border. Our border, while it is a rounded box, we are going, instead of doing a half height radius, we're going to do a fixed radius. Nope, not fixed radius, half height. We're going to do this as no. There we go. And then for our image, let's go ahead and give us a good 10 all the way around, or 3 all the way around, or 4 all the way around. Brush. Do this as a rounded box as well. Fixed radius. What was our fixed radius for the border? 10. We're gonna copy it here. There we are. And we're actually gonna decrease this to 2. There we go. For our border here, here's the thing. I kind of want the UI to be a purplish color because I like the color purple. That works out. Actually, instead of this, we are going to replace this with a... Get rid of this. We're going to replace this with a button. Which is already drawn as a rounded box. So let's go on ahead and set this to that purple color we had. With tint that is right there, I think. Then we get our image, drop that in here. Again, draw this as a box with a fixed radius of 10, 10, 10, 10. 1. This is using corner radii 4 for fixed radius. So we're going to copy that here. Compile it, and then we're going to grab some text here, put it in the overlay. Our overlay, we are going to set to 12. Give it a number of 99. And then we're going to set our outline size to 3, or 2, 1. Let's go with 1. Let's actually drop this down to 6. Then we will compile that. Now we need our item that's in here, which is just the F item type. And this is going to be instance editable, expose on spawn. And we need this text here that's visible. Quantity text. Item image. Go back in here. Right. So we get our quantity text. And what we want to do is go here and we're going to bind this, create binding. Relative variable. Quantity text. Bar. There we go. Gonna go back here, get our quantity text bar, go down to visibility. We're going to create a binding for it. A branch. Hidden. Equal. Wrong equal. Equal. Equal exactly. We're at the local variable. Visibility, check. And we compile it. Go back to the event graph. So we have our F item. And we break our F item. And we get our quantity text, and we want to set it from the quantity we have here. We want to do 2 here. Use grouping. There we go. Then we want to get our item image. Set image. Set brush. From asset, which is our item image here. Nope. Set brush from texture. There we go. Which we do here. And we compile that. We go to our content browser, we get our DT items. You see that we have no image here. So I'm gonna drag in an image real quick. Pictures, dot, yada yada yada, leave menu elements, font 1. Where are my test images? They are gone. So we're gonna make some real quick. $100 by 100. So we're gonna create a test image real quick. We're gonna do new, and we're gonna make it 300 by 300. Make an ellipse, edit, select our edit, view, snap the canvas edge. Go on ahead and make it black, select, shrink by 10, I think. That works. View, snap to grid, view, show grid, image, bigger grid, 150 by 150. Get our text here, test. Make sure that this is set up to be center. Yes, 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 yes. All right. File. Export as pictures. Menu elements. Test. Images, UI elements, test. Go back to pictures, test elements. We bring in our test icon. There we go. Click on it. It says test. There. Test icon. Alright, so now we have our thing. gives us puts out the information we need. Go back to inventory. So off here we need to create widget. And the widget we need to create is a item button. We throw our item in there, add it to child. We hit compile. Now we need to make a custom event here called refresh inventory. Get our inventory grid. Clear children. And run it again. Now we need to go here. And instead of debugging our inventory anymore, or no, we actually still want that. We're going to make another keyboard. Put it on 8. And we are going to get our HUD here. We are going to what did I name that again? Player parent, event graph. I didn't make it yet, so get rid of event tick. Custom event. Change window. We get our widget switcher. Set active index. Plug that in. Compile. Change window. And our inventory is 1. So we hit compile. Then we go back to our player parent. If it equals our get active widget, if it equals our inventory, we want to refresh the inventory. We see that we have 0 in there, and if we hit 8, nothing pops up. But it did change the widget, we know that much. Let's pick something up. Hit 8, nothing happened. We are getting a lot of errors on our player HUD. So what we want to do is go to our stamina bar and set this to convert to validated get. This will help cut down on a lot of errors that we were just getting just now. We're still getting none. So here, let's go on ahead and add a break. It's not getting what we're telling it to get. It's because we never tell the parent function to do its job. There we go. So player HUD, event graph, press play. Ah, there it goes. We can now see that we have 10 things in our inventory. Now let's see why our player parent, or why our player HUD is not doing its job. Player HUD. So it's just coming through here over and over again and seeing that this is not set correctly. So we need to go to event graph. And now let's see if I crashed it because it didn't like this loop. Yeah, it didn't like the loop. I messed up. Now we gotta wait for it to crash or not. Technical difficulties. As we wait, for this to like tell me that it's messed up, I'm going to go powder my nose. All right, Steve. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And I'm back. Let's see if Unreal is cooperating yet. Nope, it's still stuck in this loop. So let's see who we have in here who hasn't said anything. Rip Shots. Nice to have you, Rip Shots. You have any questions while we wait on Unreal to crash? Oh, this is unfortunate. Well, there's only one thing to do for this. Intense. Let's boot it back up. I knew that was a mistake as soon as I did it, too. Do. Waiting on it to reopen after crashing. Restore selected. Press OK. Alright, let's see what got messed up. Hopefully it wasn't everything that we did earlier. Oh no. Well, let's see what happens. Let's go to our actual testing map. Alrighty then. So, seems like nothing too bad happened. So we're gonna bring this up, get our health bar. I'm gonna turn this and convert to validated good. It is valid. So the issue is when we go to our widgets, our player parents, it appears we're going to have to do something else here as well. Set third person character. There we go. Set third. We don't have a third person character in the other one yet. Oh no. HUD. Oh no. Oh no. That's what's gone. Our inventory buttons. Oh well. W inventory button. Let's see here. That was a overlay. And then a button. Image in the button. And then a bit of text. I'm gonna set our outline color to purple because I like the color purple. Draw this rounded box with fixed radius. 4, 4, 4, 4. Now we go to our button. 4, 4, 4, 4. 1, 1. Draw our tint as that same purple as before. As that brighter purple. Point five. Make sure that's centered. That's centered with 0 padding. Alrighty then. Image icon. Quantity. Quantity text. Now when we're hovering over it, we want this to be brighter. This should be, let's give this a pad though. Ten, 5, 3, 2. Item to display. Item. Since editable, expose on spawn. Break F item. Set quantity text. Use 2. Set brush from. Ooh, I can use a soft texturing. Texture to the soft object reference. Hit compile. Save this. There we go. Now if I hit play. We're not getting it. We got none. None, 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 none. Inventory, player parent. Oh, that's good. We have to do this. Eight. Hmm. Great. Widgets. Inventory button. Event. Refresh. Clear children. Do it again. Equal inventory. Refresh. Save all. All right, it is working. So now we're gonna go here, right? To inventory, right here. Zoom this out. Convert to validated get is valid. So our let's see here. So that's working. But our health is not working. Player hub. So yeah, that should be working now. So go to our player parent, our third person. Go to our player struct. Yeah, we're all set to 100. Hmm. We are at 100 for both of those. Oh no, they are working. I'm just dumb. Alright, everything's working like it should be. Fantastic. Now we are running into a little bit of an issue here. Alright. If I don't pick anything up, we get that. We get nothing there, which is good. We want that to be that way. But we don't want that image popping. We don't want a blank image popping up. So we're going to get. I'm going to go to our quantity, right? And we're going to get our visibility. Hidden. Branch up. Get our item. Break F item. If our quantity equals 0, or if our quantity equals 1, and, or not and, we want or, we don't want it to show. So let's see how that looks. 8, yes, it didn't show up. Now we need to pretty much do the same thing with our image icon. We want to go down to visibility, break binding, get break item. If it equals viz test hidden. There we are. That's what we want it to look like. Now here's the thing. Currently, we just have it popping up, which is not really what I want it to do. So we are going to make content browser, go to widgets, and we are going to make a new folder. We're going to call this diegetic make a user widget interface, and we are going to call it pop up parents. We're going to put a canvas panel, and then we're going to put an image in here that we're going to do this with. All right. So we're going to come back in here, and instead of doing this, first things we're going to do is we're going to get our player struct, and we're going to break it. We're going to get our camera settings and get a branch out of it. And if this is true, what we're going to do is, where's our camera? We're going to do a view change. View IA change. I don't know. Pretty much what we want to do is take all of this custom event, change view for oh no, this thing's going false. So we push play, and we're in here. Press. There we go. All right. Opening menu. I want to go to viewport. And on mesh, we want to add widgets. And on this widget, we want to add the pop-up parents. And we want to add a, gosh darn it, what's it called? A spring arm component. Spring arm. Attach you there, and then attach this to the head sockets. Let's see. too big. So we go to the widget. $50. Now let's see. Then we go back to the pop-up. Let's use one of these screen sizes here. Custom. Let's say 500 by 1,000. Still not. Still not. So, let's try 50. Good. 10. Hit compile. Hit play. And instead of, let's do that. Spin. Hundred. Well, that's I don't really like how it moves around. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Went behind the player. It's no longer moving, which is good. But it's now behind the player. 2-0. There we are. Now what if, instead of attaching it to the spring on, I attached it to the first person camera? There's the order. Validation. We have our 100 here. Let's see here. Went behind it again. So let's see here. What would be the best way to handle this? Go to event graph. Get our character movement. Actually, no. Get our camera. Orient. Set. Set. Use on control rotation. Look at function, or not look at function. Rotate. Look at. Maybe instead of I'm doing something wrong. Self. Hmm. Something wrong. What if pause animals? And then I can set this to parents. Flip it back around. There we go. So it looks like this is what I want it to be. Now what if I delete all this? And I put widget switcher in. which is the correct size. Then I get the inventory. Put it in. And get rid of the inventory. Delete, 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 delete. Set parent function. Get rid of you, get rid of you. And then rid of these. Get our inventory. Set parent function. And in inventory, set this as a pop-up parent. And in the pop-up parent, get player character pass to third person character. One of the variable. Get third person character. Get widget. Get what is it? Widget. Get widget. Pass to pop-up parent. Promote the variable. Pop-up parent goes in here. Then we come back down here. Delete you. open. Set widget. Then what I want to do is I'm going to go to here. No, I'm going to go to here. And I need to a user interface, player screen, 500 by 1,000. Custom 100, 1,000. Actually, what if I said this as 1,000 by 1,000? Open menus. Go to the pop-up parent. Set active widget index. Set active widget index. Active widget equal inventory match. Can I do a select? Or maybe even a switch? Nope, can't do that. Refresh. Compile. I'm gonna go back to the third person. I'm gonna set this as 1. Compile. File. Save all. Press play. Alright. Let's see what happens when we pick up some items. We don't get anything. We go back to our inventory. Breakpoint. This is saying this is never valid. So we go back to our pop-up. We get our sent parent function. Self. Compile. Press play. Alright, so now... Hey, look at that. So now we got that working. So let's go to our inventory, where we already are. And we are going to set this to 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. We hit compile. Then we go, see how that works. Great. Still fills up the entire screen. So let's go to our pop-up parent, go to our designer, and let's wrap it with scale box. Set the scale box to the full size. And we'll do fill. Alright, we'll hit play. But 8. And we'll still get something that's way too big. So we'll go to our inventory. Click on our inventory grid. $100 by $100. So let's see how that looks real quick. Let's go ahead and get inventory button. That is how it should look. That is how it should look. But in here, it fills up the whole thing, which is not what I want it to do. So go to viewport, click on the widget. So draw doesn't make sense. Let's try 200 to 100 and 100. Press play. Right. Still getting that. Mess them up. Makes it really small. Hmm. It didn't work. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night for right now. Hope you all enjoyed and have a great day. Oh, man. Let's see if anyone popped in after Steve left. Oh, hello, Killboy Gaming. If you have any questions, ask them now, because I'm about to go on ahead and call it a night. While I wait for Killboy to say something, I'm gonna look something up.